Hey everyone, this is David here from SheetsFinance. In this video, we're going to do a deep dive into the SheetsFinance stock screener that lets you screen tens of thousands of global stocks by hundreds of different filters directly from Google Sheets. Now, there's a ton of functionality to this feature of SheetsFinance, so I will try touch on a lot of the basics and do a little bit more advanced stuff towards the end. So if you need, jump forward to the part that interests you most. Great, let's jump right into it. All right, so we have our blank spreadsheet open in Google Sheets, and we need to first open the stock screener. That's really straightforward. Head up to the extensions drop-down menu, head to SheetsFinance, and click stock screener over here. Now, if you don't have this extension sub-menu, that means you don't have SheetsFinance installed on your account. So head to the add-ons or extensions store on the Google Workspace Marketplace and just grab your 15-day free trial from there. Once we have the stock screener open, it'll be here on the right-hand side as a toolbar. This allows us to build the screening function. Now, the underlying powerhouse of a SheetsFinance stock screen in Google Sheets is this SF_screen function. All this stock screener sidebar helps you do is build this function automatically. So instead of jumping over to my spreadsheet and having to know, oh, well, exactly how do I write this function, I can just use this interactive toolbar to build the function for me. So as with all our videos, we'll start by using the toolbar. Once we get a little bit of a handle on that, we'll jump over to the raw function itself and get an idea of how we can begin to manipulate it to get a more complicated or complex screen out of the function. So let's build our first screen. We have 109 available filters. So let's select our first filter. We click this drop-down menu, and for instance, we could select market cap. From the market cap, we might want all stocks greater than, for instance, 500 million. Next, we might want to select the exchange that the stocks are listed on. We have 60 to 70 global exchanges to choose from. Let's do the NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange. And you'll see as I begin to add these filters, the SF screen function here will populate in real time. And this allows you to see what we're actually doing. And we'll talk about what this function is and how it works shortly. But the idea of this window here is to get you used to how the function is being built based on the parameters or the metrics that you're selecting. Great, so we have market cap above 500 million. We have the exchanges that we're after. We can order it by market cap, so we'll go down here and select that. We'll limit it to the top 200 stocks, and we will click generate. Now, when we click generate, like with our function generator, the function that we've been building, in this case, the screen that we've been building, will just be inputted into the currently highlighted cell, which in this case was cell A1. So there you have it. There's our screen. You can see NVIDIA at the time of this recording has the largest market cap of the exchanges that we are screening on, and it's in order of market cap as well. Okay, great. So now let's get a little bit more granular. Let's head back over here and add another filter. So in this case, we might add, for instance, a sector. We'll head to the sector dropdown and we will pick as many as we are after. Let's say that we want healthcare, energy, and technology. And I will click generate again. Now, because my cell was still cell A1, when I click generate, it just replaced the function that was already there with the new function. So it updated that screen. Cool. So this is our second screen. We have 200 companies, audited market cap. They have to be above $500 million market cap. And we have a series of sectors that we are displaying. Now what we want to do is we want to get a little bit more information about the companies we've screened. So we're happy with this screen. We're after these particular sectors, these exchanges, and companies above this market cap. But we want to output more data from the system. So here's where we'll quickly go over what each of these arguments are as part of the SF screen function, so you can understand how to get more information out of your screens. So the SF screen function has 3 arguments. You can see here, I'll make this a little bit bigger. This first argument is this long. This is the second argument here. And this is the third argument. There's only ever 3 arguments to the screener. The first one is the screen itself. This is where we define how we are going to filter the database. So this will be a series of filters on the database, for instance, market cap, exchange, and sector in this case. To join filters together or to filter on multiple things, we use the AND or ampersand operator. We call it a chaining operator. So you'll see here we've got market cap greater than 500 million and exchange equals, and then we list the exchanges, and then sector with another and we list the sectors. Then within some of these text filters, like an exchange or a sector, if we want multiple items, we then use a comma to separate those items. So you'll see here we've got NASDAQ, comma, NYSE. Now, all of this was generated for us with the stock screener sidebar, but getting a better understanding on how the function itself works helps you get significantly more out of the tool as you start to get more comfortable with it. Now, the second argument is called the metrics. Now, these will be repeats of the filters, but in this argument, we are just selecting what we'd like displayed. So this second argument completely controls what is displayed to us. So in this case, we are displaying symbol, market cap, exchange, and sector, and you'll see that is exactly mirrored down here: symbol, market cap, exchange, and sector. Now, for instance, if we really wanted to, and I'll just show you how this works, I could remove all of these and I could just run symbol, click enter. And in this case, we are screening on this 1, 2, 3 different items, but we're only displaying as an output the symbol. I'll just Control Z to go back to our original combination of metrics. Now, the last argument is the options argument, and there's a bunch of different options you can apply to the screen. In this case, we have 2, OB being order by, and in this case, we are ordering by the market cap, and then limit to limit the amount of actual stocks that we are going to return from the screen. Okay, so now we want to get more information out of this screen. So as we noted, we are happy with the screen itself. We want companies with a market cap greater than 500 million from these 2 exchanges and only these 3 sectors. But now we want some more information about what's been returned. So that is the second argument here, as we've already outlined. So for instance, we might want the company name. Now I'm going to jump directly into the argument and start editing it manually rather than using the sidebar, as it's a little bit easier to do this. So for instance, we want the symbol first, then we want the company name. So I'll add that. Company name. Then let's just change around the order a little bit. Perhaps we then want the exchange, then the sector. So I'm just going to cut these. I'm going to put them over on this side like that. Put the and there. Then after the sector, we may want, for instance, the industry. And then there's all kinds of data available on all of these companies. Let's add things such as, for fun, maybe the CEO and the full-time employees. And then finally, market cap at the end. So we've just selected 3 new metrics to add to this second argument, and we're going to click enter. And there you go. There is our reordered screener output. I'll just make this a little bit bigger. And the name as well. And we've got now symbol, name, exchange, sector, industry, the current CEO and full-time employees, and then all of these are ordered by market cap. So you can see even with a simple screen, you can get a ton of useful information. And if you want to see all of the available base level or base profile information available, you could instead replace all of this with all. And we'll rerun that. There you have it. Okay, so that brings us to the end of looking at some of the basic filters that we have available on the SheetsFinance stock screener in Google Sheets. Now we're going to get a little bit more complicated and look at the advanced filters available. There are over 100 trailing 12-month financial ratios that you can use to screen the database with, as well as order and display your data. So to do this, because we were working directly in the function for a while, we're actually going to start from scratch over here on the right-hand side again, just using the stock screener, the generator, to keep this a little bit simpler. So I'm going to just delete this screen. I'm going to head back over here. I'm going to remove the filters that we did have, and we're going to start from scratch. So again, let's get a market cap above 500 million. Let's do a second filter on the market cap, this time going less than, to show you that you can do a greater than or less than screen. And we're going to go less than to 1.5 billion. Then let's jump into the advanced section. So this was the basic section. Now we're going to head down here to advanced, and you'll see there are a ton of trailing 12-month or TTM ratios that we can use to screen the database by. I am going to search for the price to earnings ratio. So I can just type directly into this price to earnings ratio. There it is. And I'll click enter. And I want that to be less than 30. Let's jump back in here, and this time let's search for the return on equity. And we want that to be greater than, say, 10%, so 0.1. And let's limit this to a single country, just to make sure that we're largely equivalent. So in this case, perhaps we will do USA. Great. I'm going to increase the limit in case there's a chance it's more than 200. And then down here, you'll see that the order by updates whenever we add new filters. So you can order by any of the filters that have been included. In this case, I'm going to order by the price to earnings ratio. And there you go. It's one hell of a function up the top here, squeezed into this small amount of area, but it'll be a lot easier to see once it gets entered into our sheet. So we're going to click generate, and it will place that function that we've just built, or that screen we've built, into cell A1, which is currently highlighted. Okay, there you go. So there are 308 results. So it was good that we increased the limit from 200 to 500. That's captured everything. We're no longer ordering by market cap. Now we're ordering by the PE ratio, or the price to earnings ratio. So you'll see it starts at 29.4, going down from there. And then the return on equity here. And these are all American companies. Again, if we wanted to output more of the data, we could jump in here, for instance, and add the company name back, just so we can see what companies we're dealing with, not just the symbol. So I'll just add that in. And there you have it. I'll just make this a bit bigger. Return on equity is a percentage, so let's do that. Let's get the names. And you can see how very quickly you can build an incredibly complex screen to exactly narrow down the companies that you're after. For instance, we're now looking at the US. We're looking at companies within a band of market cap, below a certain price to earnings ratio in terms of their value to investors, and above a certain return on equity. So we're saying that they're performing at a certain they're performing well enough, essentially. As the difference between what you're filtering by and what you're outputting. In this case, we are outputting exactly what we're filtering, aside from, of course, the company name. But if we wanted some more metrics tacked onto the end of this, we'd be more than able to. For instance, we can add the current beta value. We can also just output the last annual dividend just for interest, or any of the TTM ratios. So for instance, I could add on here the dividend yield, TTM, or the revenue per share, TTM. Let's see. And there you go. So all of these columns we're using to screen. And here we're just displaying additional data because we're interested. So we happen to have found the pool of stocks that we were interested in. And once we found that pool of stocks, we then wanted to quickly at a glance see, well, what is the most recent dividend yield of the trailing 12 months? Or for instance, what is the revenue per share? And yeah, there's no limit to how you build these screens, the number of filters that you want to add. The only limitations you have will be the plan level that you're on with SheetsFinance. So jump onto the pricing page to check that out. But to get started, we have a 15-day free trial. That is full access, no payment details required. So you can just install and get started straight away. So there's links to that in the description. Jump onto the docs if you want to read more about it. And I'll make some more videos on the screener over the next little while to help do a bit of a deep dive into some more of the specifics. But hopefully this is enough to get you started so you can get the most out of this stock screener in Google Sheets. Enjoy.